And then we come to clinical practice improvement, which I think is the easiest of all this, which works out nicely, because with it counting for 15% of your possible 100, if you're perfect, you get 15 MIPS points. And in order to avoid a penalty in 2018, you need 15 MIPS points. These are activities that you can choose to perform and then report that you did it. There are 93 activities from which you can choose. We narrow down the list for you. I think it's 14, the list that we narrowed it down to. We narrowed it down for you. There are 93 of these from which you can choose. All of them are either medium weight activities or high weight activities. So the list of 93, every single one of them is either medium or high. Medium weight activities count for 10. All right, wait, I'm going to take a step back. Okay, now we're within the clinical practice improvement activity category, right? We have the 4 categories under MIPS. We're just in clinical practice improvement. And we're going to try to be perfect in the clinical practice improvement activity category in order to earn 15 MIPS points. This clinical practice improvement activity category has its own scoring system, just within CPIA now. It has its own scoring system. If you want to be perfect in the CPIA category, in order to earn 15 MIPS points, you need 40 CPIA points. To have a perfect clinical practice improvement activity score so that you get 15 MIPS points, you need 40 clinical practice improvement activity points. So if you want to be perfect, which I think most of us are going to be gunning for because this is easy, we want 40 CPIA points. So now we have 93 measures. All of them are either medium or high. The medium weight measures count as 10 CPIA points. The high weight activities count as 20. We're trying to get to 40. High weight count as 20 CPIA points, unless you are in a group of 15 or fewer, including solo practitioner, in which case you get to double those. This is good. If you are in a group of 15 or fewer, a medium weight activity for you counts as 20 CPIA. One high weight activity counts for 40 CPIA. And what do we need to be perfect in this category? 40. So if you're 15 or fewer or solo and you do one high weight activity, you got it. You got 15 MIPS points and no penalty in 2020. This is what I meant when I said an hour and 20 minutes ago that you could do this very easily. Medium 10, high 20, unless you're 15 or fewer, and then medium's 20 and high is 40. I think we got this, right? You get the idea. Let's go to the bottom one because I know there are people in bigger groups here, but if you're 15 or fewer, you only need one high or two medium, 20 plus 20, right? We narrowed this down to 14. I'm going to ask you to do something for me. Dr. Tower gets credit for this. On your list, in your packet, please cross off number 15. I am no longer suggesting that. There's part of it that's weird that Dr. Tower pointed out to me. So we're going to eliminate that one as a suggestion. I do not suggest that you consider that one because there's something weird about it. So we narrowed it down to 14. I narrowed it down even more by putting the ones in red that I think are super easy. Super, super easy. The ones that are in red here. So please look at number 1, which is a high weight activity. What number 1 requires is that the patient has 24/7 access to you or somebody covering for you, and you or that covering person has 24/7 access to their health information. That means your EHR. They can get, so that's an answering service, right? They can get you 24/7. You can get into their EHR 24/7, and you offer same or next day appointments for urgent needs. That's it. Now, you need to be able to access the EHR 24/7. 24/7 doesn't just mean that you can dial in from home. 24/7 to me, if I'm an auditor, means if I'm on call and I go to the movies, I can get into the EHR, which to me sounds like you need to be able to access it on your phone or tablet. They can get you 24/7, you can get into the EHR 24/7, and you offer same or next day appointments for urgent needs. You're done. You got 15 MIPS points. That's high if you're in a group of more than 15, right? Number 3 is another super easy one, which I hope you're all doing anyway. We are specialists. Send specialist reports back to the referring doctor. That's good practice management. You should be doing that anyway. That's a medium weight measure. If you're 15 or fewer, you're halfway there. Dr. Tower, sorry, you wanted to add something.
Well, for something like number 3, where it's easy to track that,
yeah.
When did that message, when was that sent?
Right.
How would you document number 1?
Yeah.
If somebody were to come and ask down the road.
So Dr. Tower asked about documenting these, right? With the quality measure stuff, it was much clearer. You do it, you document it, you put a code on. These are attestations. The performance of your clinical practice improvement activity is an attestation. You are going to go on a website, hopefully the APMA registry, and click a box to say, I solemnly swear that I did this in 2018. You could do it on the CMS site and fight through their nonsense. You could do it on the APMA registry, which is way cleaner and easier, and attest. Username, password, list of activities, click the box, I solemnly swear that I did this in 2018. And in the case of an audit, you need to be able to prove that you did it. So an auditor, for example, would come to the office and say, you told me that you could access 24/7, let me see, get your phone out. If you were at the movies when you were on call, how would you have gotten into the system? That's an audit. Or you attested to having sent reports back to specialists. Give me 15 referrals and show me the letter that went back to the specialist for all 15. That's how these improvement activities work. So another super easy one, number 7, patient experience surveys. Give them a survey. How many rings did it take before they answered the phone? Were you greeted with a smile at the front desk? Did the doctor answer your questions? Did the doctor spend enough time with you? Whatever. Touchy-feely stuff. Do a survey. It's a good practice management tool anyway to do that and get feedback on patients' experience at your practice. That's medium. Halfway there if you're in a group of 15 or fewer. Then number 7 and 8, many states now require you to be compliant with the state's prescription drug monitoring program. Even if they don't require you, do it. It's a good thing to do. You will help with the opioid situation, and it makes it super easy to do this. So if you're in a state that requires you to sign up with the state's prescription drug monitoring program and query the program every time you write for an opioid, you're already done. You might have 15 MIPS points sitting here right now, and you didn't even realize it. So number 7 is signing up and using it. Number 8 is every time you consider writing an opioid or you write an opioid, you log in, you put in the patient's name. Again, not you. Should be staff, not the doctor. I know there's non-docs, there's staff in the room, but my suggestion is staff should be doing this. Query, look it up, check the box and attest that you did it. Number 8 is the whole deal. High priority. 15 MIPS points if you're 15 or fewer. But even if you're more than 15, I know there's more than 15 practices here, there's high ones that are easy. You combine 2 high ones and you're there. And then number 12, fall screening, which I know a lot of people are already doing. There was a question over here, sorry.
Let's go back to the slide before. So you have 2 7s and 2 8s.
Oh, sorry.
Explain those all over again.
Oh, sorry, I messed up the numbers. My bad. I said number 7, but there were 2 number 7s. So let's.
I was writing on one while you were talking
I understand.
about the other, and then
All right, we'll fix that for the next one. The surveys. Surveys, I mentioned, give them a survey that assesses their experience at your office. And then the prescription drug monitoring program, one of which is signing up for it and putting in patient information, looking stuff up. The second one, which is consultation, is you register, and then every single time you're going to consider writing an opioid, or you do write an opioid, you query that prescription drug monitoring system to see if they just got 100 yesterday from somebody else. So we narrowed it down, pick the number that you need to be perfect. This is why I say nobody should get a penalty, because it's super easy to do at least the minimum to max out that clinical practice improvement activity category.